It's time for House to Home on your radio. House to Home, where you'll hear from local people who turn houses into homes across the inland Northwest, and how you can too. House to Home is brought to you in part by your friends at Rada Paint and Avista. Here's your host, Clyde Hawsey.
And thank you again for joining us. I'm Clyde Hawsey on House to Home. I'm your host, and joining me today is Hank Swift from Swift Plumbing.
Shaw
Plumbing.
Yeah.
Vinny, can we start that over again? Okay. Hey, you know, it isn't the first time it's cold out there, so Hank, I appreciate it, and thank you for correcting me on that. So I appreciate it ever so much.
No worries.
Hank, tell me a little bit about your company and who you are and how it is going.
Yeah, so it's going really well. We're a local plumbing shop here in Spokane, Washington.
Right.
And so we provide plumbing services in the homes and businesses. And it's mostly service work, so
Right.
repairs and, replacement of faucets, these types of things.
Sure.
So we don't get into new construction too much, but mostly it's just the service work. So right now, currently, we're running about 4 plumbers on staff. They're all licensed, background checks and drug-free type situations. So, but yeah, that's about what we do on the.
Well, the credibility is what you're actually pointing out, and the background checks that you're doing with all your people. You know, I've been in the contracting business for 40 years, and I'm going to say this very openly that it's very nice. And people invite you to their home, and you are becoming their guest. So again, that is the credibility is what I'm referring to here, and the background check is very important with all the employees, right?
Yeah, background check's kind of a good starting point with hiring anybody new, and
Right.
then we do a week ride along after that hiring
Sure.
date to see at what level they are, what their education is, any things they can improve on, and then also we have a system in place for paperwork estimates, these types of things. So once they get past that week entry point, then we sit down and decide whether we're going to continue continue employment.
Well, folks, what I really am relating to, I've seen some ads on television. They say, well, go out and hire me three estimates and this and that and so forth. And Hank with Shaw Plumbing is one of those that you want to refer all the time because they have done their homework, because again, they become your guest into your home. Hank, I've been at this business of indirectly of working as a contractor, and I fully understand. When I first contacted you, it was so professional, working with your office staff and checking on the calendar, and you arrived here on date today, and you even cross-checked before you even came to see us today. Those are the items that I make note of. So folks, if you need somebody reliable in the plumbing business, Hank Shaw of Shaw Plumbing is the one that I would really recommend, because they can be credible in what they're doing. I have found over the years there are certain problems that we have all faced within our home. I do understand that our home is like a breathing part of our life, because it surrounds us during this time of the year indoors. And what are some of the issues right now that I'm looking at that I see happening? Frozen pipes. Some of those cold areas on the outline areas of our bathrooms and so forth. Should we be allowing the water to drip a little bit? How do we know when we should turn on the drip and to have the water running? And should we even be concerned about that?
I would definitely say be concerned once you hit into the single digits. If your kitchen or any type of bathroom is on is on the other side of an outside wall, you definitely would want to run that faucet at a very small slow drip, so water won't freeze technically if it's moving technically, so that will help. But it still becomes an issue if there's some missing insulation, things like that. So if you're a crawl space or something, you always want to do a check of that every fall or winter to make sure a cat or some kind of animal didn't
Right.
push away some
Right.
insulation, or your cable guy or whatever. We find all kinds of different situations where it's like, oh, it just came down to this little piece of insulation missing, and now you
Right.
have wind blowing in, and there's a pipe that goes in the crawl space up to the kitchen, and now it's froze,
Right.
and you have no running water at your kitchen. That's the most common.
Well, I think that one of the things you pointed out that really makes a major difference is that if it's an outside wall, and I have 2 bathrooms that are that way, and I need to always keep an eye on them because of that very reason. So if you're building a new home and putting in an addition, listen to what Hank is saying. I would like to see those plumbing walls on the interior, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We make you sign some heavy documents.
There you go.
If
You
wanna put
understand.
Yeah. So anymore, it's usually not an issue. But the older homes,
Right.
It definitely, a lot of your South Hill homes are
Sure.
designed that way. It's very common
Right.
to have those type of issues.
Well, let's go beyond this particular point now that we've covered the pipes that are possibly taking some beating right now, or possibly need a dripping water taking place this time of the year. It should be done to keep so you have no pipes that are freezing. Let's talk about, I know that a sewer system is different than a septic tank system, but how often should you be concerned about using a material inside the toilets to keep them working properly? Should you use like Drano type of material, or should a person be looking at that, and if so, how often?
Well, for one, it's good to find out whether you're on septic or you're on city.
Okay, there's
and you
a very
can
good point.
You can find that out through your county assessor's website, or you can call the city or county, depending on where you're at.
The utility department will tell you if you're on sewer or water, right?
Yes.
I mean, they'll give you both answers.
And they'll have a map of actually where your sewer goes and where it connects. And if they don't have that map, more than likely you're on septic. So,
Right.
So if you're on septic system, it's always good to get some septic treatment type things. You can do some research on that. Usually it's like once a year, and they throughout that, or annually. But it just depends on what your size of your system
Right.
is, how much usage, how many people. But yeah, a lot of research to find out a product that you would want to use consistently will give you how much you're supposed to use.
Well, I'm going to throw you a curve because I live on. We have a septic tank system. The kids have gone up and grown and moved away, and they never came back either. That's good. But anyway, the bottom line is that I didn't check the septic tank for a couple of years, and I found out that a tree root got into the septic tank.
Yeah.
And that happens, and when that happens, you're in for a major challenge.
Yeah, nobody wants their sewer backing up. That's like the worst thing that can happen.
Thousands of dollars of damage.
Yeah. A couple of things you can do is, if you're on septic, you can have that cleaned out. I would recommend between every 5 to 7 years. Have it inspected, cleaned, make sure the baffle is
What, they grind it to make sure there's nothing collecting in it and no roots?
Well, they'll open access covers. The baffle is really what's important on the septics. And then on your sewer, I would personally recommend every 5 years having a camera go down into that sewer line if it's new, if it's existing house, older home. And every 5 years, definitely have that checked. Especially if you've never had any issues, usually it's not something that happens a longevity. It's like it happens all of a sudden. So
I don't have this answer, and I don't know if many of our viewers do, but when you're buying a new home or a different home, should we say an older existing home, is it required that there be a septic tank or a drain field examination? I mean, I'm just asking. That was a real good point you brought up.
I mean, when you go to buy a home, I would say most of the home inspectors don't cover those types of things.
Now you answered my question.
It's usually that realtor needs to know that they'll have somebody that can provide that information. Or if not, you need to be asking, hey, I need at least you want to know if a house is on septic or sewer.
Right.
A lot of the time it's on septic and it's supposed to be on sewer. Now you're walking into this whole situation. And
He's
then,
bringing good points here, folks.
yeah, I could do this all day long, I mean, honestly. But and then the secondary thing is okay, the house is on, let's say it's in the city, it's on the South Hill. You need to have someone show up and put a camera down that line, because when it happens, it's going to happen right when you move in for whatever reason. That's just the way it
That's
goes.
just the way life goes, you know.
And have those things dealt with
Right.
while when you're contingent buying a home, because let's say that sewer line is bad, but it didn't have enough usage
Right.
for the owners to know about it. They might not know because
Right.
maybe they're just a single or two people live in that one house, but now you
Right.
have a family in there. Now you have a different situation. So now if you find out that sewer line's bad, in most cases you can actually split the cost. And so a company will come in and line it or replace
Right,
the line,
right.
and they'll make it contingent on the sale of the home, and the person that owns the house and then the person buying it, maybe they can split or
Right.
these types of things. And that's a good way to get, if you need a new sewer line, it could be $8,000 to $12,000. That's a good time to settle that issue, so you don't have that. Oh, I just put all this money down on a house I just bought. Now I have to buy a sewer line. Now you're in a predicament. So.
Well, I think what Hank is saying here, folks, is that you need to be ready to answer or ask some questions. If you're relocating yourself to an existing home that is an older home, you better ask some good questions. When was the last time you had the sewer line examined? Is it working properly to the best of your knowledge? And do you mind if we share the cost to have a camera go down it and verify that? Because what I'm saying is that I experienced myself on a septic tank. It was a root got into it. I mean, it would have shown up. It would have shown up and saved me thousands of dollars. So, folks, these are little things that tricks that I want to say, Hank. You've really brought up something that's never been talked about, but it needs to be looked at. So we're going to take a quick break coming up here. We're going to come back, and I want to talk about the hot water tank and the setting of it. And if I have to replumb a new one, and if I have to buy a new one, I mean, all of these questions, Hank, that only you can answer as a good plumber. Where do we go from there?
Sure.
So let's take a quick break right for now, folks. I'm Clyde Haase, and with Hank Shaw from Shaw Plumbing, we're going to come back and be talking about these things.
Hi, I'm Larry Myers, owner of River Ridge Hardware. Welcome to our garden center here on the corner of Garland and Driscoll. We have fresh plants that come in weekly from all of our local growers. We can make your garden look like our garden. Here at River Ridge, we've been here 30 years. We're your full-service neighborhood hardware store. This is our sprinkler aisle where my knowledgeable staff will help you put together your sprinkler system so it will make your yard lush green for the spring and summer. This is River Ridge Hardware's rental center where we provide a multitude of equipment for rent for the do-it-yourselfer. Next time you're working on your home or yard this spring and summer, stop by, say hi, and we'll help you get the project done.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Hello there, Internet. My name is Brandon Magruder, and I'm just coming out of the Spokane Talks building, and I'm excited to bring to you guys a new announcement that I am going to be the new host of the Youth Spotlight program. Now, our old host, Colin, he's off to Texas Christian University to pursue a degree in theater and broadcasting, and you know what? That's great for him, but that's what I like to call adulting. And you know, I don't think that we have time for adulting with the Youth Spotlight program. What the Youth Spotlight program is here to do is to bring to you guys news, the greatest news of some of the most amazing people here throughout Spokane that are, just going in high school, maybe about to go into college, you know. These people are achieving life streams and they are so young. And I think that these are stories that you guys should know about. And I'm so excited to be bringing them to you. Now, I'm a Spokane native myself. I've been performing throughout Spokane in various different shows. I just closed the show of Music Man, and you know, I guess I like long walks on the beach, keeping my business attire, while also keeping my French fry socks on close at hand. You know, it's going to be a great year, and I'm so excited to be your guys' host. So tune into Youth Spotlight to watch me interview some of the most amazing people. Thank you and have a great day.
And welcome back. I'm Clyde Hawsey with House to Home, your host. And Hank Shaw from Shaw Plumbing is here sharing today. And I'll be honest with you, I've been picking his brain here. And during the break here, while you were watching what's going on, we were saying, you know, I myself, as an older person, but also a weekend warrior. And he said, "Oh, you're one of those." I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm probably like the other one because I enjoy it." My wife says, "Gee, you did a good job on that one. You got that fixed, did you?" Yes, I did, but I got a slight problem.
Yeah.
Hank, where should I go and not go when I need to repair something? When do I call you?
So
I mean, you've seen a lot of this.
I would say the one area that I would like people not to go into is if anything is hooked to gas.
Okay,
So
good
if
point.
a natural gas or propane fuel, I would prefer that people don't go buy their own water heaters at Home Depot, that they have professional install it. There are that schooling that we go to make sure
Right.
that you're safe, that your existing system may have to have changes to it to make it safe. I know that sounds interesting, like why would they put it originally
No, I know.
together this way, but things improve. The average water heater is between 15 and 20 years old, and when we replace it, it's getting up there a little bit. We want to see those water heaters replaced at 10 to 12 years max to reach their full efficiency levels.
Or when there's rust building around the bottom of it?
Any kind of leakage.
Good
things like
indicator.
this, yeah, you definitely want to have it checked out. If you give us a call, we'll show up, we'll give you information, and we give you a free estimate. So there's really no reason not to call, and at least
Calling the expert on something like that.
Yeah, on anything. So if you call us, we start out every job as a free estimate, and we just inform you on what needs to be done or what doesn't need to be done, and then you can make that decision.
Well, you know, being the weekend warrior, I'm going to say this, you know, folks, when you're dealing with a hot water tank, 100% of them are all 220, right? 220 volt?
The electric's correct.
They're electric. That's a lot. I mean, that'll set you back in the back rec room. And if it's gas, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have had no experience with it. And that's where the expert comes involved with these things.
Training, yeah.
Yeah, the training. Okay. What are some of the questions that I should be asking when I call you and asking, well, how are you qualified and why should I have you come in and do this? Besides, you've given me a nice free estimate, but why should I hire you?
Okay, so I would start off with warranty. Warranty is always
point.
a big one. Qualifications, I mean, you need to be a plumber and you need to have a gas license in the state of Washington. So pretty much anybody that touches a gas appliance needs to have a gas license, and then anything that has water connected to it that's potable, you need to be a plumber. So you do have to have 2 licenses to change a water heater technically. There are companies that do it, but in our company, all our technicians are licensed plumbers and have that gas license.
Now, if I have a collapsed sewer line outside of the home, do you folks take that on and get that put together?
That would be your excavation.
But do you
Anything
work
on
with
that
them then and tell them what to do and how to take care of something like that?
No, anything on the outside, you don't need to be a plumber.
Okay.
You can have just your traditional excavator come in and repair that sewer. So they can replace everything up to 3 feet up to the foundation wall. Anything from that 3-foot mark back
Okay.
into the house
Now we're
is
talking.
our plumber's responsibility and follows under his licensing. So
Okay. Now, I'm going to move on in a little bit and saying, okay, so I'm going to deal with the hot water tank. But let's make a comment here or a thought. There's a few of us that over the years we've traveled to the south in the wintertime. I haven't done it this winter, so I didn't shut down my house. But what are some of the things, what are some of the steps? I even have a sheet, a checkoff sheet
Yeah.
that I have to follow
sure.
when you're shutting down your home and shutting down the plumbing. How do you see that happening, and where do you recommend a person begins on that? Give them a list of things, some checkoffs.
Sure, some checkoffs. Number one thing, obviously, would be making sure your water main is off to the home. If it's not going to be occupied or someone's not going to be checking on that, you don't want to come back to a flood.
Oh, that's true.
The other thing is the gas water heater or electric water heater. Go ahead and shut those things off or put it in, vacation mode is what they would call
Sure.
it. But I would just shut it off and then relight it when you come back.
The
And
pilot light.
or electric, your 220.
Yes, yes.
So shut that off. No reason to be heating hot water for nobody.
Right.
Day in, day out. So, and then if it is in the wintertime, then you do need to call in a company to have that. If you, let's say you're a snowbird and you go to Arizona and you leave your house.
Right.
And you
right.
lose power, and now you don't have power on or heat on. Now you can have that potential of freezing. So you would want to have that home winterized, and
And drain the pipes as much as you can.
We'll blow it out with an air compressor, even just like
Okay.
you would a sprinkler system.
Yes.
And that way you kind of feel safe there. So
And that's real important to be done. And especially, he mentioned the sprinkler system, and I see that happening all the time because of the irrigation systems that you need to have those things turned off. Some people don't do it, and I'm saying this year you may have been all right because the ground has got snow on it.
sure.
But there's been some winters we don't have snow and we got cold weather and the frost goes down. It's going to freeze things, right?
You really need to have those sprinklers blown out, and we provide that
I
service.
agree with that.
We provide that service as well. So there are even systems that are self-draining.
Right.
And let me tell you, we come in and we have to do a bunch of repairs on those. So,
They become self-draining because the pipe breaks and they drain.
yeah.
And I'm being honest about it. And
Yeah.
that's not a funny situation. I've heard of that many a times.
Yeah.
Oh, it's self-draining. Yeah, right. It's only when it breaks the pipe or the head blows off.
Sure. And then moving into the spring, once you have come back to your house or faucets on the outside haven't been used, you want to double make sure that those haven't froze and split, because you won't actually get a leak showing
Right.
until you have the faucet on, because you have that frost-free portion that has split in the middle. And so when you go to turn on the water to wash your car,
Yep.
you have actual water going into your basement. So you want to, cap the end of your hose with a nozzle or whatever, turn on the water, and then you want to listen and double make sure downstairs that you don't have water coming in.
If
through
your
ceiling.
meter is inside your house and you turn off your hose outside and it's still running, you can hear it and you can see it going around and around.
Yeah, you should be able to hear
You can
water running
detect
somewhere.
it, is what we're saying.
But just double check that in the spring, or especially if you left that hose on all winter, you still might not have a leak occur until you turn on that faucet, and then now it's going to come out that split.
You
that
see,
is thawed out.
what Hank is saying, that a crack just doesn't always happen right at the right spot. It can be anywhere. That's what I'm trying to point out.
Yeah, there's an actual hollow point there that water can't get to because that the faucet turn off
Right.
is actually in the walls because it's kind of a frost-proof type situation. So, but when you turn it on, now you're allowing water to go into that hollow spot that's still in the wall, but now it's split. So now it's shooting down into
Yep.
the downstairs or whatever. So, and we've had it where people are out washing their cars and their faucet's completely on and they come to a basement with full water. So we
Well,
want to check those.
what you're saying is that in the newer homes the last 15, 20 years, they have this frost-free faucet, they call them, right?
Exactly.
And they shut off, like what he's saying, way back inside. So those of us that don't have those, don't forget to turn those off also. They may be turned off outside, but you have to go back inside and turn that one off and drain it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that happen where people, I don't have a drain on that. Well, water is still going to freeze.
Yeah, and those frost-free hose bibs, that are split, we on average will probably change out 3 to 4 a day.
Really?
Yeah, once spring hits.
Really?
So for a good consistent of a month. So that's quite a few.
And that's not a weekend warrior project.
It can or can't be. It just depends on installation.
It depends upon the age, and guess what? I am not going to do it. Therefore, I've taken that off my list of possibly
You
doing
definitely can be, you can be doing something more fun than
Let me ask the
plumbing.
given question. Is your company available to put in new kitchen sinks, new toilets, and so forth? And do you recommend any certain direction to be taken on
Yeah,
either one of those?
any fixture or anything in your house, we definitely can replace for you. We can give you some options, and if you like to pick out a color or a style or whatever those types
Sure.
of things, and then we give you a price for all these different options, and then it comes with a year warranty. So.
Okay, even your warranty with the installation is what you're saying. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tell you about a situation I've got that I put in because I have a bathroom quite a far away from the hot water tank, and the issue being is that I want to go ahead and be looking at keeping the water so I'm not running 5 gallons of water at the other end.
Yeah.
So I have one of these circulating ones. Is that a pretty good idea?
Recirc system. So there are 2 different recirc systems that you can have in your house. You can have a system that is added,
Yes.
that we can add to a
Yes.
house that doesn't have a recirc line, designated recirc line, and then or the recirc system may already be installed in the home if it's a newer home, and we just need to add a pump. But yes, that is definitely something that if you don't like waiting 2-3 minutes for hot water,
I just hate wasting water.
yeah. And that's probably one of the biggest ones is people trying to get hot water to a faucet. Usually it's the master bathroom.
Yep.
I'm in my shower.
Yep.
I'm having to brush my teeth
Yep.
and comb my hair before I get hot water. Once
Yep.
it gets nice and steamy, then I'm ready to
You
jump
haven't been
in.
to our house, have you?
It's just a really it's even on the new houses it does
Yeah.
it, and it just drives me crazy. But we can retrofit a system for that home to make it so you can have hot water
Right.
within
right.
10
right.
seconds or so
Good.
to the
Well,
faucet.
again,
So,
you have the answers that I'm looking for. That understand what your home is doing and what its needs could possibly be. But then, instead of being the weekend warrior, I think this will work.
yeah.
They need to call you. Can you give us your website, your phone number, and how we make contact with
Yeah,
you?
so 954-5273 and then at shawplumbingservices.com.
Okay.
And then in 954-5273. Yeah.
So again, you're online, and you will answer accordingly. You are able to again, if I've got a question or a concern I have, is that you can give you a call, and you're going to give me some information.
Absolutely.
You're not at the point saying, well, we just don't have time right now.
Oh no, we have on average, I think we calculated the other day, and we have 400 phone calls a month
Wow.
that so we do have a dispatch center that takes those leads in or those questions.
Sure.
And normally we dispatch a plumber to the situation because most of the
Right.
time it's just not something we can answer over the phone because every house is so different
Yeah.
and every situation is different. So to be able to provide you with options, a price, and some information, and it doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to do the work at that time or at all if you don't want to. But it's just
So,
part
or
of the
they can
service.
go online to Shaw Plumbing.
Yep, shawplumbingservices.com.
Okay. And you can actually ask the question. You can respond accordingly because, folks, he is heavily involved electronically, and he says, well, I need to check with my office. I need to be on time. I need to take care of things, and I really appreciate that with you, Hank. Folks, I know weekend warriors, I was brought up with that age that we could always take care of all these things. But, I think we had a conversation is that we need to understand we can't do everything. And so, Hank, you filled us with our ideas that we need to be asking you, and the credibility that you bring to the plate is very important. And I want to say thank you. And I know they say thank you because we're looking for good people like you to help us because it is a big issue and it's a big expense. Until next time, folks, if you have a problem, give Hank a call. It's shawplumbingservices.com, and he will take care of you. And until next time, I'm Clyde Haase. See you next time on House to Home.
House to Home with Clyde Haase is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask Clyde a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. House to Home is brought to you each week by Avista and Rada Paint. You can turn your house into a home. We're here to help. Thanks for listening to Spokane Talks Online.